All right, guys, you ready to take questions from Coach Vitello?
I imagine you're happy with the response. Just what had the last 36, 48 hours been like, and what was kind of the message the last couple of days?
Yeah, I mean, you get a punch in the gut, you don't feel great about yourself, but it also gives you a chance to kind of analyze some things. So I think we did that as a staff. Also, Monday always is a bit of a reprieve for the guys. I mean, it's an off day. Come in here, get some of them got a lift, and you move on to the next thing. But yeah, there's a period in there from Sunday to Tuesday. You're itching to compete, either because Sunday didn't go well, or maybe you're a guy that didn't get the ball Sunday or didn't get to play. So the guys came out and played the way they're capable of playing, and they play with a little bit of attitude to them, but also are just focused from the get-go, and it's important to them. They're pretty dang good out there.
What did you see from Sewell in his first game out there this season?
I just felt good seeing him out there, to be honest with you. First couple off-speed pitches weren't the best in the world, but he hasn't thrown a lot of those. He has been throwing with Garrett. He's been on par with that, but he showed what he's capable of, throwing strikes, getting some bad swings, although they did take a few good swings off him as well at times. But just a comforting feeling knowing he's now back in the mix. And actually, Will Heflin threw to hitters before the game. They were our hitters, but we kind of welcomed back two guys able to pitch to live hitters, and it boosts our team. There's no doubt about it. And those are two guys that are really good clubhouse guys, too. So it's just a boost all the way around.
How's Sewell doing health-wise? Is he kind of in the same boat as Crochet, where it's a game-by-game?
Two totally different things, to be honest with you. He could bounce back, I think, on Friday if we really wanted to press the issue. It doesn't make sense to do so. But he's kind of like our Hundley and Jackson Leith, kind of Swiss Army knife guys is the phrase that our video coordinators come up with. They can start. I mean, I trust him closing if we needed to do that, extra innings, middle relief. So those three guys in particular fall under that umbrella and are pretty valuable for us. And, one of them may get a start this weekend. Who knows?
What do you think of that second inning where, it just seems like your lineup just piles up runs pretty quickly?
Yeah, and I think the mentality and the preparation, all the juicy stuff was there in the first inning. It just didn't come. But most offenses at all, even if they're good or not, it's going to come for you in bunches, or there'll be a snowball effect. The Little League phrase is hitting's contagious. Well, you kind of feed off each other, and it's difficult, for pitchers at times when they get hit or if guys are on base to manage that. So whatever it all was together, I think, again, the guys had the mentality that they've had most of the season and practice leading up to the season, going into the game, and then they maintained that throughout the game, and that made it a pretty good 9 innings for us.
Do you think a game like this was needed between the Wright State weekend and SEC play?
Yeah, I don't think it was a must, but pretty close to it. I mean, just to play is key. Sometimes you need that week where there's a gap, and Coach Van Horn, I think, used to kind of time that perfectly with his scheduling. It can kind of help to rest guys if you don't have that game in the middle of the week, but it's too early in the year. There's even a couple arms that really we wanted to pitch tonight we didn't get to, but we needed to play, and we needed to play well, and we needed some sort of positive feedback to reassure ourselves that, hey, there were a few things that happened last weekend that were an aberration. Make no bones about it, we got beat. But we also gained some valuable lessons learned from that weekend, and came away with a pretty good lead going into the weekend, or a lead-in game going into the weekend.
What did you see from those three in the middle? Kirby had a rough outing, but then Christian looked really good.
When you bring Sewell out of the game, if I'm in that dugout, I'm kind of, maybe they don't have all the information. Hey, this guy's winning the game, and why are they pulling him early? Maybe a little sign of disrespect, or maybe it adds a little edge to them. And I may be reaching for something, but they take better swings off him than I've seen anybody take off him. And maybe it's we're rushing him back right out there again. It could be anything, but he left the ball up a little bit too much. But he's facing a good lineup too. And then Elijah kind of had to come in and has done something that our pitchers haven't been forced to come in the middle of innings, because our offense has done well, and quite frankly, the pitchers have done well too. So the chess pieces have kind of been moved around at will up until last weekend, and so coming in the middle innings a little bit different, and you got to have your calm about you. They've all done it before in their life, but kind of being reintroduced to that was necessary for a couple guys, because Elijah was pretty dang good once he got out of that inning. They had the ball rolling.
Two more questions.
We've not seen what Crochet can do. You talked about Eflin. Do you feel good about this rotation going into conference play?
Yeah, I think some guys still need to be built up pitch count wise. Those guys that were, not necessarily 100% going into the season, and even the other guys. I mean, we bring those guys to, along rather slowly as it relates to pitch counts. So there's still going to be some juggling going on the first couple weeks, but at the same time, there will be no experimentation or, hey, let's just try this to find out. It's going to be us in South Carolina doing the same thing as all the other teams in the league. Do what you got to do to win on Friday, and then when Saturday comes around, you're going to throw, all your best firepower at them as well.
What do you feel like you've learned about your team going into conference play and then just watching South Carolina from afar? I know you've been occupied elsewhere with other games, but just kind of your thoughts on South Carolina.
Yeah, I haven't got to that yet, but I know it's a hard-working coaching staff. It's a huge facility. It's a big stadium, and they've always gotten good crowds there, and those fans will get on you a little bit. So it'll be a good introduction to what all the road games are in the SEC. Is they kind of know your name, and they're going to try and get under your skin and have fun with you and things like that too. So all those things come from going over there. But other than that, I haven't got to much of that. It's been kind of focusing on our team. You're wanting to know what I've learned is we are a good team. As a coach, you kind of going into the season, why say that too much? You might put yourself out there a little bit. But we are a good team, and we have a chance to do great things. But we need to pay attention to that formula that's there, the good preparation with work ethic, the right amount of attitude. It doesn't need to be cocky. It needs to be a little bit of edge and confidence, which they've shown. And then when they're together and really behind each other and not getting in their own feelings or looking too inward, that part's the most fun part as a coach. And it really is different. I've been around some really good teams, 15 years worth now, plus the teams I've played on. There aren't as many that are as unselfish as this group or as excited for each other as this group up until this point. So they need to hold that. Otherwise, I'll be in here saying cuss words to you guys.